Hi, I'm Larry Dignan from ZDNet, and we're here with Varadheesh. He is CIO of JOANN's. It's a retailer that does arts, crafts, fabrics, and had a lot to do during the COVID pandemic with PPE. Hi, Varadheesh. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Lawrence.
So walk me through, how things have changed in the last 6 months, I guess, starting from, say, March to today. Like, how did your digital transformation get accelerated? What are the moving parts behind the retail landscape?
Absolutely. Going into COVID, right, as any other retailer, we were faced with a lot of challenges, starting with store closures, like any other retailer because of the pandemic. We had at the high point around 50% of our chain close to customer traffic. The other piece, which is very important, where JOANN was able to participate, and we are pretty proud of as to what we were able to do and support our customers, is around everything around PPE and the making of the PPE. We were, I would say, part of a customer movement of make to give, where when all of the hospital networks were having difficulty in getting some of the PPE to their employees and the frontline um, uh, participants, what we found is our customers were looking to actually help them out by making masks and scrubs and all of that and donating to them. So we didn't want to just shut down our doors and not have the access to all of the material that is needed for the PPE. So even though our stores were closed to customer traffic, we had the advantage of doing buy online, pickup in store and ship from store from our locations, as well as our distribution centers. So having said that, we did see a surge online where customers were looking to buy all these products, which meant that we had to, not only from a technology perspective, make sure that we can continue to operate our technology solutions, because the surges were to the extent of 3 times what we have seen in the past during holidays, right? I'm talking 3 times volumes of a Black Friday or a Cyber Monday, which is not what we are set up for from a technology perspective. So we were able to quickly, internally as well as with external partners like IBM, was able to scale and actually support that surge that we saw online. At the same time, we had to also process those orders for our customers to have the products shipped to them, because most of our stores was not accessible, or pick up in store. Again, in pick up in store, there was a problem where we typically required our customers to come inside the store to pick up their orders. But with the pandemic, a lot of the local government agencies had actually asked us not to do that, meaning customers not allowed inside the store. So we were able to, within a few days, quickly come up with, I would say, a process-based solution for curbside pickup, where we were able to communicate to our customers saying, if your order is ready for pickup, please come by and call us when you're there, and we'll be able to bring your orders to you, to your car. So we were able to do that. So that way we were able to satisfy all of the customer requirements with respect to everything that they would like to do with the PPE. And at the same time, as part of being helping the community, we also donated quite a bit of fabric to a lot of the agencies who are trying to do the same thing, as well as to our own customers by creating, I would say, the mask DIY packets, where we had all the material you need to make a mask, and we were donating it at our stores as well, where the customers can actually take it, make their own mask, use it for themselves, or bring it back and give it to us so we can donate it, collect and donate to wherever we have to. Or they were also having a lot of their own friends and family making these masks with all the material that we gave and donating it to the hospital networks that were in need. So we were participating in various different things during the pandemic.
Now, the store, JOANN has basically been going through, you were brought on to, increase the omnichannel capabilities and things like that. What did you have in place? And then how much did you have to accelerate, the digital transformation kind of on the fly?
Most of the things that we had to do on the fly were One, scale up our systems to be able to accommodate all of the surge in the online traffic and the order management resources. The second important thing is also going into the pandemic, we only had around, I would say, less than 100 stores doing ship from store. It was just an additional fulfillment capability that we had during our normal operations. But going into the pandemic, two things, right? One, we had a surge that we had to cater to. Second, if you didn't know, we did not furlough any of our employees in any of our stores and corporate, which meant that we had all the people available to us. So even though the stores were closed for customer traffic, we were able to actually add 100 more stores that can do ship from store, which we did on the fly over a period of time. So we had to learn a quick way of standing up a store to do ship from store and actually provide them all of the technology, like because most of the technology for doing ship from store did not exist in those stores. So we had to quickly scale on that, provide them the required technology through handhelds, the material, the process, and everything, so that they can actually start becoming a fulfillment center, which they were not in the past. So we had to accelerate some of those. And the other piece, which I already mentioned, curbside pickup was not something we did. We had to quickly come up with a solution to actually make that happen. So those were the things I would say that we had to react to everything that was happening and quickly was able to take care of.
So something like ship from store. I mean, I've been, I follow retail pretty closely. And, ship from store was sort of a concept that, Best Buy, a few others were pursuing. And now, it seems like everybody's sort of doing that now. Do you think that's going to be the primary fulfillment model now going forward?
I wouldn't say that would be the primary fulfillment model. It is an additional fulfillment capacity or capability that I think that is going to stay. It made more sense to do that because obviously you have that ability with a store that is available with the inventory that's available, but not allowed for customers to shop. So that was a capability that we could bring up and use. But I think moving forward, people are going to be looking at store as a potential fulfillment center more than even from our point of view, right? Are we going to go down to 100 stores or 50 stores? We don't see that. We probably are going to actually have 200 stores doing this. And on top of it, we are also looking at building more efficiencies in the ship from store process through process and technology. Because as you can imagine, right, a store is not a distribution center, right, where it is built to actually process orders from customers, pick, pack, and ship, right? It is more of a store, which you have to kind of transform to do that. So I think that stores are going to be part of the fulfillment network of any retailer, but still trying to put in process, procedures, and technology in place to actually make it more efficient is where, in fact, we are also focusing on. We are trying to make some of the changes to the store itself. Like, for example, typically it is hard to find a product as to where it is and how much of it is in a shelf. Because when you put products on the floor, you don't really keep track of that because you don't have systems to do that. But we are putting in new capabilities to actually manage the inventory position within every location in a store, so that a top shelf is actually tagged and we know how much of a product is sitting on the top shelf. We are going to be able to find out how much of a product is going to be sitting in the back room. Before it used to be just one big box with all the products in it, and it was just minimum help that you provided to a user to find the product. But we are putting in new solutions to actually continue to use the store to be an efficient fulfillment location. So I think it is going to be in the future.
And will that inventory tracking, will that be through Internet of Things, sensors, computer vision? I guess how do you plan on doing that?
Those are all potential possibilities we have looked at. But as you know that we don't have much time because we want to be much more efficient and put some of these in place before the holidays. So we are using just basic inventory management with having a location tagged with a particular location ID. And then we are going to be using our inventory management system through IBM and SAP to actually track down the inventory position by location using handheld technologies. We have looked at some of those options where there are AI-based technologies where it can scan the shelf, it can figure out how much inventory is on the shelf and all of that. I guess those are things that we will be exploring in the future.
How has shop online, pick up in store? I mean, that has really accelerated recently. How do you see that trend developing in the future?
We are going to see that trend continuing. The pickup that we had in the percentage of the online sales being buy online pickup in store versus ship to home is actually sustaining. Even though we saw that actually grow to around even 50-60% buy online pickup in store, it is sustaining even today at around 40% of our online business. So I would expect that to continue. And we have been having conversations internally as well as with people outside, with our partners. What is this holiday going to look like? Okay, with everything happening right now, even though all the stores are open, we do still see that people prefer not to come into the store and still shop online and have their orders picked up either through curbside or pick up in store. So we are going to see that kind of trend continue into the holiday, because I don't know, with no vaccine, I don't know how comfortable our customers are going to be to actually come into the store and shop. So we are actually preparing more towards actually making that process much more seamless and frictionless, so that the customers can continue to shop, have their orders picked up in the store. So for example, we are in the process of getting into a pilot with a curbside pickup solution, which is totally seamless and frictionless, so that to the extent that we want to surprise and delight our customers when they drive up to our store, we have the bag ready waiting for them outside with a teammate holding the bag for them. So that is the extent of process that we are trying to put in place through technology, obviously, which includes some of the location-based capabilities of a customer's mobile device, and also for us to track down on every order that the customer is on their way to pick up. When they arrive within our geo fence of our store, we know that they have arrived, so that we can actually take the order to them. So we are putting some of those in place because we hope that, and in fact, we believe that the buy online pickup in store and curbside is going to be key for the holiday, because that is going to be a primary, I would say, preferred way of shopping for our customers going into this holiday.
Yeah, I guess when you started the year, you probably had some planning assumptions for the holiday season, and then they were pretty much all ripped up by March, right?
Yes. And in fact, now our holiday assumptions, even from a system scalability and all of that, is based on what happened in March and April. It's not based on last year, what happened during Cyber Monday, because that's not even a benchmark that we are looking at anymore. So we are actually testing and getting ready for the holiday, because we do go through a holiday readiness process every year. And this year, the benchmark that we are going to be using is March and April, and not the November, December of last year.
What are you seeing for back to school? I mean, I know there's a lot of, virtual learning and, arts and crafts and things like, home purchases, home projects. There's a lot of things like that that are, kind of boomed right now. How does that plan into your demand assumptions?
Back to school is not something that we really cater to, with the typical stuff, right, of what you would buy to get your kid ready for school year. But what we are seeing is that the PPE is one portion of our demand, right? That continues to actually help and drive that. But at the same time, kids being at home and doing home projects and all of that actually is helping on the arts and crafts, right, sales. So because you want to have something for your kid to be working on and keep them interested and going, right? So we are seeing that, and it is continuing because a lot of parents, both from taking care of their kids and providing them something to keep them busy, as well as a lot of home projects, home decoration, because you might have heard, and we have seen that in the news also, a lot of home improvement projects have taken off, right? People are at home, they want to actually make their workspace better, because it's work from home for pretty much everyone. And at the same time, decorating the house also has picked up because people are trying to now get their space a lot more, I would say, decorated, and a lot of crafts that they're doing with their kids also we are seeing. So yeah, a lot of new things that probably was, I would say, not a great growth area. We are seeing that that is also helping. And the biggest one you might have heard is the sewing machines, right?
Right.
Pretty much everyone is sewing now, and everyone wants a sewing machine. They want to do stuff, which also leads to a lot of things that they will be doing for home improvement is what we're seeing.
So one of the things Joanne was working on was sort of, new experiences in store, like you guys had a concept store and things like that. Um, what is the store experience of the future going to look like? Or I guess how do you, are you planning multiple scenarios? How does that play out?
So we do, even during the pandemic, we had a couple of stores that actually got remodeled and opened. Like, for example, Torrance in LA, California was opened also, which is one of our concept stores also. So we are going to continue on that. But we are also looking at some of the learnings from what we saw in the last few months and the preferences of customer shopping. So we are actually taking those into account in our next few stores that we are working on. So we are going to continue on that journey because I think the brick and mortar and the in-store experience is there for it to stay, right? It is going to be there. And some of the stores that we have already remodeled are kind of things where a lot of customers like the look, the feel, the layout, the brightness, and how we have assorted that store. So we are going to continue on that. I don't think that we are going to change a lot on that based on what we saw in the pandemic. But we just did slow down a little bit because it's hard to actually get some of those projects actually completed during the pandemic with all the restriction all over the place.
All right. Anything I didn't ask that I should have?
No, I guess you pretty much asked the things that we have been working on and what we have experienced in the last few months. So it's been a great discussion.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.